United Church of Christ, Southbury. I hope everybody's doing well, and our prayers go out to all those affected by the pandemic. What a difficult year, 2020. We will never forget it. When it came down to youth ministry and a mission trip, it was also a difficult year. Originally, we were supposed to go to Maine in June at the end of the school year, and because of the pandemic, that didn't work. We tried to schedule another trip for the end of the summer in August, and that was just too hard to pull off with everybody at home or away for the summer. So we finally planned a trip for September once school started, and we went back to our friends at Silver Lake. And you know, our church has a very special relationship with Silver Lake. So I went up there and talked to Matt, the site supervisor, about what we could do to help them and help us with a mission trip. So we walked the site up there at Silver Lake, and Matt showed me a bunch of little projects that we could have done. And then he finally said to me, "I've got a really cool thing that you might be interested in," and it was refurbishing one of the two original cabins at Silver Lake. And I think they're almost 100 years old, but there's two cabins left, and we decided to tackle that job. And it was particularly interesting to me because it was a single site, so we could all work together, and it was a dramatic change, and I wanted something that the kids could really see what they did over the course of a 2-day mission trip. And that was the other difference. We did 2 one-day trips, a Saturday and a Sunday, and with no overnight because of the COVID restrictions. So I hope you enjoy seeing our work and accomplishment that the kids did. We did this, and it proved that we can overcome anything, that we can't live our lives in fear, and that as a community we are very strong. So please enjoy the video. Thank you.
With the COVID-19 pandemic, we were not positive that a mission trip could be accomplished. I had the pleasure of scouting out the project prior to the youth group's arrival. When I first saw the cabin, I thought, we may have bitten off more than we could chew. The cabin was in pretty rough shape. The paint was peeling, the boards were rotting, the shingles were falling off. But as soon as the youth group arrived, we divided into work teams and started the rebuild. By the end of the weekend, the cabin looked brand new. My favorite part of any mission trip is seeing each kid learn and grow from their experiences. There's the growth of skills. Some kids have never had the opportunity to use certain tools like a hammer, drill, or saw. They may not have built a door or framed out a window or shingled a roof before, but they learn these valuable life skills that aren't often taught anywhere else. On the first day, one of the kids may be afraid of heights, but you watch them become more comfortable with it throughout the project. And then, at the end of the trip, they're walking on a roof like a professional roofer. This year, the trip was extra special because it gave us a brief break from the COVID-19 pandemic. We were able to safely come together as a team to accomplish a wonderful project. It gave our kids a positive outlet, to learn new skills, and to grow together as a team. I know for me, this past year has been very difficult. I come from a large family that enjoys celebrating everything together. Unfortunately, we've barely been able to come together this year. So, to be able to come together with this youth group for this mission trip, it brought a sense of normalcy during an unprecedented time of isolation. This trip reaffirmed our community through our fellowship. We shared stories at the end of each workday, and the consensus was that this mission trip, this youth group, this church, and this community were something special. We have found unique ways of coming together throughout this year, to support each other, to support others through outreach, and to grow as a community. Youth ministry and the mission trips would not be possible without your support.
Good morning, my name's Matt Taylor, and I'm the site manager here at Silver Lake Conference Center. I'd like to take a minute to tell you about this little building behind me. This is one of the 2 original cabins that are left from when this camp was built back in about the 1930s. So this cabin is about 100 years old. Thousands upon thousands of campers have stayed in this building or one just like it. It was really ready for either a tear down or a renovation. Well, you can see the snow load on the roof right there. If it wasn't for the renovation, that snow would have been inside the building. Halos and Hammers came up and they just did an outstanding job building new shutters. The shutters were all gone, new door, new roof. To have your folks come up and do the renovation was just, it meant so much to me. I stayed in a building just like this, probably this very one, when I was a young camper up here. This weekend was at the end of September, and we've been in lockdown here at Silver Lake. It was the first summer since we became Silver Lake Conference Center in 1957 that there's been no conferees here. And that was very sad. That was very difficult. It was difficult for the staff that was hired that couldn't come up here. It was difficult for the campers that wanted to have that experience. When your young people came up, it was the first time that we'd had outside guests here in the camp for almost 3/4 of a year. But really just to be able to work side by side with them, to have a campfire with them, and to hear the laughter and spirit of young people back here in the camp just meant so much to me personally, and to everybody else who works here. And I think the camp itself needed that spirit. It was missing that spirit. So thank you very much to Halos and Hammers, young people, youth leaders, and the Southbury Church for everything that you've done with this project and for Silver Lake Conference Center. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
So, wow, wasn't that an amazing video? The kids are just fantastic. I've taken them around the country, and wherever we go, they've never failed to impress me. So now you're probably wondering about what we're doing this year. Well, we're following a dual planning process. One is to conduct a drive-away up to New Hampshire. It'll be the first time we go to New Hampshire. And as a backup, we're probably going to do something similar to Silver Lake like that we did this year. It all depends on the COVID restrictions and how the progress of that whole pandemic goes. But we are planning a full-fledged week-long trip, and it's not where we go, it's the work that we do. So no matter what we do this year, we will create miracles. Thank you.